A group of students face their worst nightmares when they realize that are trapped in a cave where time does not work the way they think it does. Hi, I am Joan. Today I am gonna explaining the movie called Time Trap, released on November 2018. He is Hopper, an archaeology professor. He is exploring a remote cave system on the trail of missing hippies from the 1970s. We see a dog as his traveling companion. There he discover a van and found a diary is written about the cave and more information. After a while, as he walked towards the cave, he saw a cowboy inside. He was paused there as statue. After realizing the situation that something is wrong there, he returns to town and dismisses his graduate students, Taylor and Jackie, stating that their research is done. They want to go with him, but doesn't allow them. And Professor go out from home to that cave with his bag and all the necessary things. Hopper again arrives there and enters the cave with a rope and see that cowboy is still standing there inside. A few feet ahead, he realizes the presence of an invisible wall covering. He crossed it and go ahead. Several days later, as Hopper has not returned, Taylor and Jackie go looking for him with their friend Kara, who brings her sister Vives and her friend Furby. When they reach that place, they see a truck and found a diary in the truck. They read the diary and understand that Professor came here to find his parents and his sister beside the research. Following Hopper's trail to the campsite by a cave, they find an entrance with climbing ropes leading inside. They decide to follow it, and a little farther along the mark of the rope, they see a sloping place and also get the rope torn there. So they get out of the cave and go to the car to get rope to get down there. But Furby chooses to stay behind as backup for the base camp. Back to the scene of Hopper, we see that he follows the cowboy and lost him, and after some times he get out from the cave. He looks at his watch and looking around the place is dark. Here is night outside. He calls his dog, but the dog is not there. He entered into the cave some times ago with the day of mourning. But amazingly, within some hours all the things is changed outside and changed. The place looks like he is seeing the place after some years. Then, he sees a Jeep car of their students. After seeing the students' car and the Taylor's bag inside the car, he understands that they also came here. He calls them here to there, but nobody answered. Then again, he goes to the cave, calling Jackie and Taylor. And the next scene, they lower themselves into the cave, and going a little further, suddenly hearing some strange noises 2 times. They got scared and ran back. Then Jackie tries to climb back out. After getting up little, the rope frays and she falls and got injured. They thought Furby is joking. He cut the rope. They called Furby by radio phone to give them rope, but no answers they received from there. After some times, calling for help, they received a transmission from the cave by their radio phone. They got confused that the voice is Furby's voice, or not, because it's a different voice. They again start walking another way to find him, who was in the radio call. After a while, they reached in a place where was being flashing and flicking like torchlight. At a different junction, they discover another opening to the cave and Furby, dead with a broken neck. Tyler found a torn rope, and also found his camera is still running. They started watching Furby's video recordings. They noticed several days elapsed from his perspective. Furby spent some days and night outside of cave, while only about an hour had lapsed in the cave. He began researching the hippies' belongings, discovering they were Hopper's parents, and that he is searching for his missing sister. His parents were following legends of the Fountain of Youth, and speculated that this cave system was the root of the story. Furby found another cave opening. After several days, he went into the cave to retrieve keys for a vehicle, but fell when his rope severed. Taylor deduces the cave is inside a time distortion, where events move more slowly. With few options, Kara free climbs out of the cave to get a GPS signal. Outside, she sees that the terrain has become barren and destroyed the earth, and she is facing oxygen problem. And also there is no signal of GPS. She record videos of the situation, returning to the cave, comparing video recordings. Kara has experienced 30 minutes on the surface, while she had been gone only a few seconds from their viewpoint, confirming Taylor's theory. Reviewing Furby's footage again, They learn he survived the fall, but was murdered by a caveman. Kara and Taylor deduce the time difference is much more drastic than they suspected, and entire years are passing within seconds, meaning the few hours they have been in the cave is enough to span several hundred or thousand years outside. They understand they are in time trap in the cave. Even then they are confused about how can it possible. Hearing more howling, Kara prepares to climb out again for help, but is interrupted by a futuristic humanoid spaceman descending via a retractable ladder. Little bit later, a caveman suddenly attacks the spaceman, but is subdued non-lethally. They flee just to find a whole tribe of cavemen inspecting the dead bodies of the cowboy and Hopper's parents. Discovered, Taylor fights the caveman and is killed. The spaceman returns, protects the others from the cavemen, and then places Taylor into a healing pool of water because the healing water can alive him. Again, more cavemen attack, and the spaceman is fatally wounded, and in the meantime Taylor became alive. Before dying, spaceman shows them several media clips about their disappearance, and indicating that humans have become spacefaring. 8. After some moment, Taylor notices the bag of Professor Hopper. Taylor finds Hopper injured in front of another time dilation, containing his long-missing sister, and a legion of conquistadors in battle with the cavemen over control of a waterfall, the source of the time distortion, at the center of the cave system. Those who cross the place, they stuck and freeze there, and can't back. When Taylor tried to reach that place, Hopper stopped him and forbade him to go. Hopper explains, the field is strongest here, making rescue of his sister impossible. He tells Taylor to go and save the others, as he is also dying. When they are preparing to leave the cave with the spaceman's ladder, the students are attacked by cavemen before they can get through. When Kara was climbing up, she discovered a circle of water, and suddenly someone approached her into the water, and someone puts an oxygen mask on her face. Taylor tried to catch her to pull down. They thought something bad is happening on her, and she also scared, but later on some rope comes down to catch them to pull up there. They had no idea that all the thing is happening to save them. Kara is pulled through the portal by future beings before she can help her friends. From their perspective, she reappears through the portal, differently dressed, and with rope-like mechanisms, which pull her friends through. A short time later, Furby was seen underwater. Furby awakens from that healing water, and he sees that he is in a spaceship along with Hopper, and also Hopper's family, all having been retrieved and resurrected with the healing waters. The others arrive, Taylor, Jackie, Kara and others happily explaining they are in a space station together. And here is the happy ending.